Thank you for joining us for this HighVail and IBM presentation. We will share how hundreds of your peers around the world in multiple industries are transforming their businesses by leveraging hybrid multi-clouds and the opportunities that cloud is making possible for them, and also the challenges they are overcoming as well. We are proud to work with HighVail, a premier IBM partner who has been helping organizations with the most complex cloud computing challenges for the last 16 years. We are all about respect, and nothing is more precious than your time. Therefore, let us start with an important disclosure. This video will be relevant to you only if, number one, you are currently deploying production workloads to public clouds, or are considering adopting a cloud strategy that includes deploying production workloads to more than one public cloud from this list: AWS, Google, Azure, Red Hat, Pivotal, IBM, or other IaaS or PaaS clouds. This video will be critically important to you if you are already deploying containers in Kubernetes clusters to more than 2 public clouds as well. And number 2, you are concerned about or are currently experiencing operational, governance and policy enforcement, cost and risk management, and other challenges related to using multiple clouds. If this is not your situation, we just saved you 19 precious minutes. Thank you. To set the stage, an executive said approximately 5 years ago, as he was observing the evolution of cloud, that IT has become the business and the business has become IT. As we fast forward to today, I think most of us would agree that this statement is extremely relevant and has become the reality of business today. That said, every coin has two sides. On the one hand, IT has indeed become strategic, and everyone from the C-suite all the way up to the board of directors recognize that without IT, businesses basically cannot compete. The other side of the coin is that line of business executives have also recognized how critical IT is to their personal and business success. And IT professionals share with us that they have never been under more pressure from line of business executives making requests on a daily basis for more and more applications and business capabilities, while at the same time expecting results faster and faster. As we move into 2019 and beyond, the many hundreds of customers that we are working with on a worldwide basis that span the very largest organizations in the world to medium-sized businesses ranging from financial services, insurance, government, healthcare, industrial, utilities, and retail industries, have moved beyond merely trying to cut costs through the use of the cloud and are now into transforming their businesses by leveraging cloud. A number of use cases have arisen, and the most prominent one is driving competitive advantage by leveraging data at hyperscale. This explosion in data, with the majority of this data being dark, unstructured data, is a direct result of the explosion in cloud computing. Many organizations are starting to exploit machine learning and artificial intelligence in order to infuse their corporate processes with a deep level of insight. They are leveraging artificial intelligence because it has become much more affordable and feasible given the explosion of data, which has made it possible for machine learning algorithms to finally have data in massive volumes so they can be trained effectively. What is driving this need is that leaders in artificial intelligence are seeking to get further and further ahead of their competitors. Another exciting technology just around the corner is 5G. It is estimated that by next year, most Canadian cities will have 5G, and one can only speculate how innovation will be driven to much higher levels because of the capabilities of this technology. Not just in allowing you to provide for your customers much richer applications with new services, but also the fact that 5G will further reinforce the explosive growth of data. Accordingly, your competitors in Canada and around the world are fixated in this space as they seek to gain competitive advantage. As we look at what's happening right now, fast application development is the pointy end of the competitive spear between participants in an industry, and also between external parties to an industry that desire to disrupt an established industry. Whether we are talking about Uber, Airbnb, and FinTech, just to name a few, disruptors are everywhere thanks to cloud computing, and they compete through application development. The desired outcome is obviously to retain and delight your customers, and when that interaction becomes digital, competition based on very fast time to market becomes critical. We spoke about the pressure that IT departments are under from line of business executives looking for speed to market with an emphasis on shorter and shorter timeframes to get applications into production. We all know that cloud has been a catalyst for faster and faster speed, and that is creating significant pressure on established IT models based on the ITIL approach to centralized command and control IT to a new model that emphasizes development and site reliability engineering. If that wasn't enough pressure, your developers are moving to containers and Kubernetes, whether you can support them or not. They argue that if they are not completely capable of working with containers and Kubernetes, that their career prospects suffer, which creates significant pressure on organizations that compete for the best talent. As a result, many developers are not waiting for their organizations to make that possible, and they do development at home. In spite of the constant need for speed, cloud has also had a very significant impact on regulations. I point you to GDPR with an emphasis on the P, which stands for privacy. If we go back 5 years ago, people would have argued that privacy was dead because you can't have privacy and grow social media in cloud at the same time. Well, the Europeans did not agree, and they implemented the most stringent regulatory framework on the planet. You may be a Canadian-only business and not care about GDPR, but privacy protection is very much a concern that could have very catastrophic impacts on your business if this is not handled properly, and we help your peers in this area with compliance enforcement. As a result, in many businesses, what used to be an IT function, that is, protecting the network, the systems, and applications, has risen to the C-suite, and in some businesses, all the way to the board of directors as an area of direct oversight, because the consequences to the business can be catastrophic if this is not handled properly. In the meantime, you have to run a business, and businesses run on existing core applications. Many of them will never be modified or touched because they meet the SLAs of the business, and the risk of bringing that application offline to modify it far outweighs any business advantage you might get. That said, as we speak right now, many businesses are transforming and modernizing legacy monolithic applications into container-based applications that utilize microservices as a way of leveraging the full value and capabilities of the cloud. And HighVail and IBM are helping customers with those transformations. While we are on the subject of microservices, please note that the business case for containers and Kubernetes is solid. Ovum conducted a study that we're happy to share with you that identified more than 7 very significant benefits that companies that are using containers and Kubernetes are achieving as compared to companies that use legacy monolithic applications based on VMs. Please note that in spite of all the hype, only 20% of workloads have migrated to the cloud today. For organizations leveraging the cloud and building their businesses on the cloud, we see a very significant opportunity that amounts to $1 trillion as a result of the additional 80% of workloads that will migrate to the cloud. This $1 trillion opportunity is shown in the green rectangle. Please note how big private cloud is as part of the additional cloud opportunity of $1 trillion. Many customers think that cloud computing only happens using somebody else's infrastructure over a network. In other words, public cloud computing. Nothing could be further from the truth. Many customers, especially those in highly regulated organizations or other customers who don't want to put workloads that give them significant competitive advantage, simply refuse to put everything in the public cloud. You can, in fact, take full advantage of the cloud inside your data center, on your own systems, behind your firewall, by using private cloud technology, and the market is very large, as you can see. We firmly believe that the future is hybrid cloud, which means seamless integration between your data center and the public cloud. The objective is to give you choice with consistency, which means that no matter where you run a workload, it will work in a consistent way, whether in your data center or the public cloud, or both at the same time. Hybrid cloud is all about recognizing that not all workloads work the same in any one environment, and some workloads will work best only in your data center. Risk avoidance is about giving you the choice to deploy your workloads where you want without causing operational limitations, and that is why 94% of customers use multiple clouds, which includes using private clouds and public clouds. These hundreds of customers use multiple clouds with an average of 3 public clouds. The reason why organizations are moving to multiple clouds is simply to avoid vendor lock-in, and also because putting all your eggs in one basket is far too risky. Moreover, as more and more of your IT spend moves to the public cloud, the decision to spread the risk moves outside of just the IT department and also becomes the purview of the finance and procurement department, who will be very concerned if all your financial risk is being deployed to only one public cloud. The transformation to fully cloud-native capabilities will take time, and we estimate that it will take at least 10 years because it will be complex. Therefore, you will see a coexistence between legacy applications that can be containerized all the way to mostly born-in-the-cloud applications. And with the passage of time, obviously, more and more of those applications will be cloud-native. And these hundreds of customers whose experience I am sharing with you have largely gone through the evolution in the use of cloud technology. That is, they all started with migration without doing any changes to the applications. That means they were lifting and shifting applications to use public cloud seeking cost cutting. 5 years later, for those that started early, they all acknowledge that they never really saved much money. And it turns out that that wasn't the point. All of them achieved something much more important: operational flexibility to run their businesses, because the cloud, although it wasn't necessarily cheaper, gave them complete flexibility to meet spikes in their business and then to eliminate that extra capacity when it was not needed. As a result, they were able to transform what was largely fixed costs without ability to meet spikes into variable costs with complete flexibility. Most of those hundreds of customers are moving now to the second stage, which is modernizing, and that very specifically means transforming legacy monolithic applications into container microservices-based applications. And they are doing this because they know that to the extent that they can be ahead of their competitors, who potentially are competing by using legacy monolithic applications, they will be able to get further and further ahead from a competitive advantage perspective, because they will be able to release new business capabilities 10 times faster than these competitors. At the same time, they are also investing in application development based on container-based applications with cloud-native capabilities. And what they're seeking here is to create much richer applications than they could without cloud-native capabilities. What that means is that once an application is cloud-native, you can easily combine numerous services and other applications by using APIs to make the application that you use to service your customers much more valuable for them by providing more functionality without you having to code all that functionality in-house. To succeed in this evolution, the most significant challenge will be your ability to manage these disparate environments and ensure everything is integrated, which is the rest of this video, as we drill down into operating details and challenges your peers are experiencing. Hybrid multi-cloud is the future, but you are going to run into significant challenges as cloud computing becomes more prevalent, which makes it possible for companies to move faster and faster. You will see significant pressure on your culture as DevOps and site reliability take center stage, and your team will have to master new skills if they want to exploit modernization and cloud-native development. You will also have to deal with a significant growth in bespoke tools brought by all these public cloud providers that you need to manage. And finally, processes. In particular, unified processes will come under severe pressure as they get replaced by fit-for-purpose processes that can handle the needs of the line of business. And by that I mean that the marketing department will have different needs than the finance department, who in turn will have different needs from the operations department. So each one will require processes that fit their needs specifically. As a result, you will see that complexity rises exponentially as you deploy more clouds on the one hand, and as you deploy more workloads to all those multiple clouds on the other hand. And your challenges will be multidimensional. For example, your ability to enforce governance and policies, stay compliant. Lack of automation is going to be a major limiting factor. Cost management will be a challenge, and so will risk management, and so on. In spite of this complexity, organizations will still use multiple clouds, and this is the opportunity for IBM and HighVail to help you solve these challenges, to help you succeed despite this complexity. Any company that will tackle this multi-cloud hybrid challenge will need to work on 3 technology capabilities. The first one is to allow for seamless movement, which means giving you the ability to automatically move workloads between all your public clouds and all the operational systems in your data center, as you can see on this graphic. That ability ensures that you will have a true hybrid multi-cloud system that will minimize risk, optimize your cost management, and will provide the levels of service that your customers need. You will then need to tackle problems related to connectivity, and to be more precise, secure connectivity, because cloud is all about networks, and therefore, you are going to find significant challenges in ensuring that this complex system is always up and running, and that the networks that support these multi-cloud environments are optimized. And finally, you will need to bring to bear consistency of management that allows you to enforce policies and governance, help you gain complete visibility from an operational, cost, and risk perspective, and at the same time eliminates silos by giving you a unified view of all your systems and clouds. In order to help customers with these problems, we have developed a technology stack that will help you tackle these operational problems. The one thing that all these technologies have in common is that they are built to make it easy for you to operate by giving you a significant amount of analytics and AI and a unified user interface to make it easy to use. With a lot of scripting and graphical capabilities rather than having to use command line interface coding for all your work, which opens up these platforms to many more of your employees to use. And all the open source components that are built into the system are completely integrated to each other so that they act as a unified whole. Then, all these disparate components are supported by IBM so that you do not have to call 65 different vendors that make up the platforms when something breaks. You just call IBM for all your needs. Working from the top, the first solution in blue will allow you to manage containers and Kubernetes clusters to give you visibility, governance, and full automation in managing all aspects of your clusters, such as their health, moving them from one public cloud to another public cloud, or to the data center if you have a private cloud. And we support AWS, Azure, Google, Red Hat, and IBM. You will also need infrastructure automation because deploying workloads to clouds can be quite complex without automated technologies. With this technology stack, we automate the full lifecycle of deployment of workloads, enforcing policies, allowing you to move containers and VMs between public clouds, or back and forth from the data center to public clouds. The third component of the technology stack in blue is the ability to track costs and assets with prescriptive guidance. The fact is that as more and more of your IT spend moves to disparate public cloud systems, you will be challenged very quickly with tracking all those costs in a unified way so you can see all your expense. With this solution, you will be able to discover how you are spending money across all the public and private clouds that you're using, including VMware vSphere in your data center. The solution will help you track your expenses and help you understand your risks as workloads get deployed, and very often they are not used, but you are still paying for them. With this system, you will be able to enforce policies in terms of asset utilization, and you will be able to forecast future costs and risks by using comprehensive analytical capabilities we built into the system. And all of this is built on the Enterprise Content Catalog. And what I want to highlight is our commitment to open source, because nothing could be more important to us. Because all the open source software, accounting for more than 65 applications in our system, is the original open source code without any modifications at all. It is critical that the open source software remain open source if all this is going to work, and even the most minute modification of that code makes that particular application proprietary. Did you know that we deploy thousands of IBMers on a daily basis to these open source communities to make sure that whatever we build into this catalog is truly enterprise grade? Additionally, this investment allows us to know the product roadmap for all the open source software, including all the upcoming upgrades, so we can do all that work for you, rather than have you do all the patching whenever there is a new version of the software. And obviously, this knowledge also allows us to make sure we can support all the software to give you only one number to call. As you deploy more clusters and workloads, you are going to have to ensure that you have complete visibility, governance, and automation across all the public clouds and private clouds. Visibility is about giving you the operational ability to know the health, location, and real-time usage of all the assets that you have deployed across all your clouds. Governance is primarily about setting consistent security policies across all these environments and ensuring compliance. You will need to ensure that anybody using your environments has proper access by utilizing technologies like role-based access control. Finally, without automation, you will simply not succeed using disparate systems because everything will grind to a halt due to complexity. You need to be able to move workloads on demand whenever you want and do that extremely reliably and predictably, and automation is how you solve these problems. To close, we created a comprehensive technology suite to help you tackle these problems, and all the components are priced very competitively, especially if you want to start small. Netcool Ops Insights will give you an end-to-end view across the entire hybrid infrastructure and apps. It will also provide AI-driven automation to handle complexity. Cloud Application Management will provide failure avoidance, leveraging centralized monitoring of modern and traditional applications. Using Site Reliability Engineering's golden signals, it will provide automatic monitoring with open-source data collectors. Cloud Cost and Asset Management will allow you to discover all your costs and manage all your assets deployed to clouds to help you control risk. Cloud Automation Manager will allow you to automate the deployment and lifecycle management of all your containers and VMs deployed to public clouds and in your data center. Multicloud Manager will allow you to control all your Kubernetes clusters across all your clouds in an automated way. All these technologies leverage IBM Cloud Private, which provides the common technology control plane, making all the components and individual open source and IBM applications centrally managed, secure, and highly available. And it also provides common shared services to simplify operations and maintenance, and is built using Kubernetes-based microservices architecture. On behalf of HighVail and IBM, I want to thank you for your time today. If we have been able to make you think of one challenge or one use case that you might want to tackle with us, please contact HighVail to arrange a meeting to discuss this in depth. Thank you.